Looks like it started. Hi everyone, TigerHawk-T3 here. Today I'm going to write more of the STO Loot Parser, STO Star Trek Online. And yeah, today's plan is to write some kind of container class for all of our loot objects, and then that container class can get behavior for analyzing these loot objects and storing them in certain ways, maybe. So, I was looking over the code between the previous segment and today, and I noticed this. This is exactly the same as that. So it's looking for, if we have a loss, post a loss. If we sell something, then we have a gain and a loss. Otherwise, we just get something. Gain is item and quantity, and loss is none. So that means there's no need for this. Right? Get rid of that. Okay. What now? Now I think we will run this one more time to see the output format. We've got this something, one something. Let's look at our loot object. We will have a date time, a winner, a gain, and a loss. And the gain and the loss will either be none or an item with a quantity. Should we have I'm wondering if those should be a tuple also. If none should actually be something with a tuple of like none and 0. Let's go with this for now, and if it becomes an issue, we can change it later. This will probably be a short stream today because I have to head out in about half an hour-ish. So short stream. Maybe if I have time later tonight, maybe there'll be another one. I don't know. We'll see. 2 streams in one day, luxury. Winner, etc. Okay, let's write our class. Class. What are we going to call this bag of loot? A bag? Container? How about container? It's not very specific. That's fine. And when we initialize it, we'll have self and nothing else. I think. Yeah, no. Okay. Loot, self.loot, will be, I was thinking a dictionary with various categories, maybe, kind of pre-filtered. Let's write an add method first. Self and loot object. So that would be so it's passed a loot object, and then let's see, we would have the time, whether it's a lockbox item, a gain, and a loss. So we might want to move it into loss, which means spending currency, selling, and lockbox stuff, and gaining currency. a lost, sold, and received, and acquired. Okay. And is this, what else have we got? Date, winner, gain, loss. No, I'm not sure whether we should split loot objects on a sale into a loot object with a loss and a separate loot object with gain. Maybe I can do that post-processing in the container class. Gain, loss. Let's see. Item -1. Think. This is high-level planning before we write. Not necessarily the only valid way to do things. It's totally legit to just start writing stuff, and then if you see, oh, that won't work because, you know, such and such reason, then you write it again. Hopefully it didn't take too long to write. And writing can help you figure out what direction you want to go. So let's see. Date time is important, a winner. Category, is that going to be... That's not used anywhere. Okay. Interaction is used. Why am I capturing the category? I honestly don't know. Why am I capturing the category? Interaction is the lost, sold, etc. So this is interaction. And the previous captured one is this. I don't know why I'm capturing that. And does anyone in chat? I'm not using it at all. In the slightest. Mark received, item received, mark lost. I don't need it. Do not need it. Okay. I'm just gonna run this, make sure it's still happy. Oh, whoops! I forgot to I forgot to write things. Oops. Just sit tight. Code part. There. That's better. So, okay. Got this, sold this for that. Gained, lost, etc. What I might do is make a factory function into which I send matched messages. These each of these things, and instead of sending it directly to loot, I will send it to this factory function. Then that factory function can create loot objects. Could be good. Let's do that. How about we define it here? Nope, top level. Okay, def loot factory, args of some kind. Actually, it should be something like this. No, we need self. Give the date time, the winner. We will need all of these things to figure it out. It'll be assembled this way. Okay. And then I'm going to move some things from this into the factory function. Okay, I'm going to start by copying it, and then I'm going to trim things down. FD, etc. Okay. And then DT for datetime, and we're going to use that later. We don't need this. And then quantity equals quantity this, blah, 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 item, figuring that out. Okay, here's where we're going to have some differences. If interaction is lost, instead we're going to remove all these self. No, didn't I have I had a local gain as well. Oh, that's annoying. No, that's just because it's not necessary. Right. Gain is this, loss is that. Figure out an item and a gain. Loss is this. Let's keep it there for now and write other things around it, and then we can remove what we don't need later. Let's turn that off. Remove it when we don't need it. Goes through the command window as well. If it's lost, I'm going to return a loot object with the date time, the winner. Should it have a winner? Yeah. Yeah. Winner and acquisition. Now, it might be what they got or what they lost. So, transaction. Okay. No. Item quantity. Okay. Do I want this? Do I want to do this? Because if we split everything up, then that would be would make it more difficult to connect what kind of relationship do we want between because the only kind of thing that actually matters that has both a gain and a loss is when you sell something. Let's see. Wasn't there a different yes, there is also a different this is the format for Dabo, by the way. So there's that. There's gold pressed latinum. System and default. Minigame. We'll do that later. You know what? I don't like any of this. So no. We're going to have things with sales be connected through this. It's fine. It's fine. No factory function. No thank you. So traction acquired. Do we use that? We don't use that either. We don't. Okay. Don't need to capture that at all, and it's not a group of anything. So we'll just take that out and say we're getting rid of that. Okay. Interaction, we definitely use. Winner, we use because we want to save that. Quantity, we definitely use, and the item. Those are basic. So, very good. So we'll have a dictionary. I think we'll just have a list. Just a list. I was thinking a dictionary at first because that would let us split it up into, say, lost or sold. So transactions where we sold something, or where we just got a numeric, or where we spent something, and then I could call that more easily. But I plan on just we'll just filter it out later. Do we want to save that? I think I should save interaction maybe. Interaction is going to be lost, or sold, or received. There's also, do I want to save acquired? It'll be different. Or has acquired. No, we don't capture that. Let's stick with this for now. And if we need to save more information for fancy filtering later, we can always put some parentheses around the relevant area. So it's going to be a list. Okay. And when we add a loot item, we will dot append loot. Okay. This is actually unclear, kind of. How about it's a bag of loot messages. The two hardest parts of programming: cache validation, naming things, and off by one errors. I've told that before. It is hilarious. Let's just call it loot with a lowercase l. Sure. It will be fine. I'm certain of it. So what have we got? Append loot, and then I think that's it for now. About extend self other self dot loot dot extend with other dot loot. So this is to add an item to the bag. I'm just going to call it bag. It's a bag of loot. Okay. We're going to extend the bag. Bag is usually used for an unordered collection of stuff rather than an ordered collection. I don't think it matters. By which I mean I don't think I care right now. Question: should we use a tuple or a list or a set? I think we can rule out tuple already, because those are immutable and we would have to be destroying them and recreating them if we wanted to make new ones. List is what we're using now because we can just append things. A set is another option, but loot objects immutable are not hashable. because they're mutable, and mutable objects really aren't supposed to be hashable. Like, you can, in theory, like you can't have a set that contains a set, because sets aren't hashable, and they can only contain hashable items, so they cannot contain others. So you can, but it kind of defeats the purpose of that data type in the first place. So we're going to just use a list, and yeah, this is to add the contents of another container, bag, to this one. And then we have a bigger list. How about, we're not going to remove things, I think. Let's make some reporting methods. Actually, before we do that, this is something at least, let's change this. For loot in this bag equals container, bag.add loot. Okay. So this will be creating a whole bunch of loot objects as before, and it's just going to add it to the bag. For match in the bag. Ooh. We want, how do we iterate over this? It would have to be bag.bag first. Let's call it container for clarity. So this is what it would be. We should add a method to iterate over it. Is that iter? I think. I think it's this one. Yeah, iter. I am madly Googling. And okay. Define iter, which returns an iterator. Okay. Type methods called whatever with the thing. Okay. Returning itself. And next. Let's try this with a fake class in here. Class A. Init. Self dot bag equals 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's good for now. Def iter has to return itself. What does that mean? Oh, returns an iterator. So, how do I actually do that? Oh. Oh. Oh, that's easy. Return self.bag. Okay. a print I. No, because I gotta do this. 1, 2, 3. Cool. So that is how it works. Very good. Def iter and returns return an iterator. Yeah. Return iter self.bag. Okay. So now we can iterate over the container class, and it really iterates over this list that it has. And what next? A sneeze next, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Almost sneeze. Okay, maybe not. Alright. So we've got that. Oh. Nate is in chat. Hello, Nate. How are you today? We are currently writing our parser. What did he get here? Oh, just now. Watching now, etc. Okay. So that was a few minutes ago. I was looking at the iter magic method. This, I should say, is called a magic method. It helps you, I should say, it allows you to define behavior for Python syntax. Like if I had add with this other return self.bag plus other.bag. Now what does this do, right? It does the following. If I have two container objects, I'm doing all right. Thank you, Nathan. And Zephi-chan says, a sneeze, my kingdom for a sneeze. I know, right? Sometimes. But it didn't happen. It didn't want to happen. So when we when we do this, we have if we have two container objects, like A equals container, like we have I can just write it in here. A equals container, and then B equals container. If we do C equals A plus B, what will happen is it will get the A container object, and it will call this, and other will be this B container object, and then it will return, no, I want it to return a new container object. So hang on. Temp equals container. So I initialize one, and then container, no, temp dot, I don't want copies of these. This should return a copy. Okay. Roadblock. I wanted to add the two things together. If I didn't have any of this, what it would do is it would take the bag from each container. Actually, hang on. Bag equals this. No. Well, I shouldn't be changing any of these loot objects. They are technically mutable, so I could mess with their attributes if I wanted. Temp.bag gets this, and return temp. So what this does now is it will get our A object. Nate asks, is it just me, or is it always fun? Or is it fun to always print hello world when I start a new project? Not just you. I don't do it. I generally like to jump into what functions am I going to have, and then I stare at a blank notepad file for a while, and then I start writing stuff. Unless it's something familiar like our Connect 4 game or something that I say, okay, I know I'm going to have a function, and I'm going to loop over the function until the game is done. Right? All similar. Anyway, this add is going to get, it's going to act on this object, and it's going to say, here's the other one, and that's A and B, the first and the second operands in this expression. And it's going to make a container object, and it's going to say, we're going to add the two bags of those past containers, and we're going to say the combined list of all of this, that's the temp.bag. So temp.bag, the bag of this container that we made, is going to be the sum of the other bags. And then we return that container. So C will be a container that contains all the objects that A and B did. Neat, right? Except if we do A0 equals none, then the first element of the C container will also be changed to no. No, if we do A0 dot what have we got? If we do A0 dot winner equals none, then the winner attribute of C0 would also be none. Because it's a different list, but the elements in them are just pointers. So A has a bunch of pointers to certain loot objects, and then we say, I'm going to add those pointers to these pointers, and I'm going to make a new list out of them. So if I say A0 equals none, that won't change anything in C. But if I say A0.winner equals none, then the same pointer in C will also have its attribute changed as well. Don't necessarily want that. We would need maybe deep copy. I don't know if I have to implement a copy method for that to work well. For the loot objects, I'm not sure how that works. But yeah. I'm just going to leave this in here for now, because that's fine, whatever. So this, I don't know if I'll use. This is good, I think, because that allows us to extend our list without making a new container. Have I done anything practical yet? I'm going to see if I can add the Dabo stuff right now in 5 or 10 minutes, and then I have to go. Okay. Placed a bet of whatever, placed a bet of whatever. There's this, and this is an actual dump from my chat log. minigame, placed a bet, system default, you placed a bet, minigame, system default, minigame, system default, minigame, no system default for that one. So minigame is when it's either you or someone else. And this, with system and default, is when it is you. So system being the channel name and default. And what format is it? Placed a bet of something something. Instead of you received, it's you placed a bet of. Okay. You this placed a bet of something and something. Great. That part's fine. Placed a bet of, and we want system and default. With a capital letter. Default. This is the system field. The field that would get a value like system. That's the channel. And then we have this. It can be default. Very good. Of etc. That should work. And we are not including oh, there's none. Maybe I should capture it and say throwaway minigame. Yeah. So there's this. Capture this. We capture this and we capture that. So that's the date and time, and then channel. So we do need that. It will be important. So we want to be able to throw it away. Hang on. We're already making a loot object. And this would require that it's there. Hang on a second. If we didn't have the channel, how would we know what was going on? Name, we might have nothing but this. Name placed a bet of, you placed a bet of, you, and then you1. Okay. Alright, so it does have to have you. It's you. Placed a bet of, can be you received, you placed a bet of. Alright, this is actually fine. So we don't need any of this. Don't need to capture that. Game plan outs default. Yeah, we want to include that as a possible field. It might be the default category. And they may not have that displaying, but that's okay. And then it will be you placed a bet of, or 1, and we capture that. That is a long string. Or, okay. Actually, let's put it here. Alright. So it could be lost, received, sold, and lost is the same. Does it have lost? No. Placed a bet of, or 1. You lost, received, sold, placed a bet of, and 1, so we just added that. Alright. So now we have this. Elif interaction equals placed a bet of. You placed a bet of, indeed. Doesn't say you lost. You placed a bet of. Okay. Lost in lost placed a bet of and 1 would also be this, so I don't need that. So if we either lost or placed a bet of something, then it means we lost that much. And acquired and won are just fine. No, because it's received. Yeah, this is for received because we process that elsewhere. It's fine. Let's add this test. What's it? To the thing. Make it a little bigger. Save and run. What blows up? Nothing blew up. No gains. Lost energy credits, period. Times whatever. Why is there a period? Gained gold press latinum, period. Oh, because it has a period at the end. Okay. There's a period at the end. Oh, these are full sentences. These are not. So, einen, this. Do we have an exclamation mark somewhere? We do. Exclamation mark. Let's have the item be is that the last place with the item? Yes. Dot R strip with this and that. So that should remove the exclamation mark and the period. Let's run it again. That's better. Erhalten. 1 something something erhalten. 1 something something. Aren't I saying it could have? Oh. We have this, and then we need to take out that erhalten. Let's split on that phrase and get the first result. Dot R split on space erhalten. And max split equals 1. So we've split that phrase into two on Erhalten, starting from the right, and we want the first one. So now we save it, and we should get the Erhalten removed. Very good. Something K6, someone 1 whatever, someone whatever, no gains, lost times 100, gain GPL times 150, times 10, no losses. That's wrong, but okay. Because they're different lines, it would be nice if the gain and the loss were on the same lines, but they won't be. If they were the same event, you gambled this much to win that much, but it's not. That's all I have time for today. I really do have to go, but thank you, Nate and Zefi-chan, for joining me, and I will have more games and more Python stuff later this week. Maybe tonight I'll have time for more. I do not know. But thanks again, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.